Okay guys, if you've been following us on social media, you know that we've been building a new studio machine. Now this machine is to replace our old janky systems that we've been using to benchmark graphics cards, demonstrate components, that kind of things that you'll see in all the different videos we've got. And we thought it was time to actually build something that was a little bit more stable that we could use going forward and make things a little bit more consistent in what we do. Now today we're going to have a look at some of the parts that we've chosen for that and the reasons why we've done it, because you probably wouldn't pick them yourselves. But let's get into it and take a look. So first up, we got our case. Now this is a case from NZXT, and this one in particular is actually the H500i. Now we didn't start with this case, we actually purchased a H510 for around £20 off eBay, and it was missing the glass panel, which was perfect for us because in film you don't want the glass panel on there anyway. But there was a problem with that case, and it's that it didn't actually come with a vertical GPU mount, and we needed a vertical GPU mount so that you could see the graphics cards when we do the benchmarking videos. And although we could actually get a vertical riser for them, when we actually looked at the price of a riser, we're talking about £40 to £50, which would actually look decent in a system. And instead we managed to find this H500i, which actually includes a vertical mount in it for pretty much the same price. Now that allowed us, because this one actually came with a glass panel, that allowed us to put that glass panel back on the 510 because they're pretty much exactly the same chassis, and we've got an extra case out of it. So for the sum total of £60, we managed to get two cases, one which we'll use for a build later on, and an actual perfect case for the job that we needed in this one, with the vertical mount and all the space that we need to be able to do anything. Now the reason we chose NZXT, and you will see there's a bit of a theme going on here, is because NZXT is a pretty good company when it comes to supporting the community. Out of all the companies that we obviously as a tech channel try to connect with, NZXT have been nothing but polite and helpful all the way through. So we thought, why not give them a chance and check out their products with this machine. Powering this system, we've decided to go with Intel, and the reason that we've done that is because most of our machines, or pretty much all of our machines in the studio currently, are from AMD. Now, we don't actually try to stick with just a single brand, we'll pretty much try anything, and because Intel at the moment are pretty much dominating the market in terms of budget, we've managed to pick up a 10th generation i5 10400F. Now this is going to be perfect for this build because we don't need the integrated graphics, because we're going to be benchmarking graphics cards on here. But also it's coming out at an amazing price. Now this processor we managed to pick up for £128. It's a 6-core 12-thread processor, which pretty much competes with any of the Ryzen 5 3000 processors, as well as actually keeping up with the 5600X in a lot of games. Now of course it's not a super high-end processor, and that's not exactly what we wanted anyway. Most of our content is around budget graphics cards, budget components, and this processor will be more than enough that we need for this, but it'll also give us the ability to upgrade later, which brings us to our motherboard. For the motherboard, we've decided to go with an MSI MPG Z490. Now this is a little bit overkill for this processor, but in actual fact it's going to give us the ability to have a bit of an upgrade path, considering it will support 11th and 10th gen Intel. So at some point we'll probably look to stick something like an i9 in this, depending on how far this machine will actually take us, because obviously the 12th gen from Intel are coming out at super prices. But we chose MSI on purpose because MSI, for all the boards that we've actually had through the studio, have been one of the most compatible and strong boards. Generally we use Asus or Gigabyte, but we've had a lot of failures with their budget systems recently, so we decided to stick with MSI because they haven't done us wrong yet. For memory, we've decided to pick up a set of G.Skill Trident Z. Now this we picked up secondhand off eBay for around £60, and it is DDR4 3200 megahertz, which is going to be more than enough for this system, and there's 16 gigs in total. And again, we've chosen to do that because we've got more than enough upgrade path, because we can also go to 32, 64. I'm pretty sure this board actually supports up to 128, but at the same time we're going to be benchmarking things at that budget level, and most gamers nowadays do have 16 gigabyte of RAM, and when it moves on we'll clearly be able to get some more to be able to put in that system. For storage, at the moment we're just going with one M.2 NVMe, and we've decided to pick up something from Crucial. So this is a pretty standard M.2 drive, and it's going to control, it's a 500 gigabyte, and it's going to control our operating system as well as any games that we want to benchmark. But again, the motherboard does support up to 2 of these, and we'll upgrade that in future when we need the space. We've chosen Crucial because, again, just like NZXT, they have been a brand that have been really helpful to us in the past. So we thought, why not support somebody that actually does that? Moving on to another piece from NZXT, we have our cooler. Now, clearly, if you're building a budget machine, you probably don't need to go to this kind of level because the CPU in this system actually does have a cooler inside. It's a bit of a stock Intel cooler and they're probably pretty noisy, but instead we've decided to go full upgrade up to one of these. This is a 240mm AIO system. It's not one of the fancy LCD ones, although we did want one, but again, we're supporting NZXT because they've been really good to this channel and they are generally really good to their community as well. So that's obviously going to go in there. That's going to keep everything super cool, and we'll probably front mount it because it'll look really awesome in there. So that only leaves a couple of pieces left. One, the graphics card. Now, because this machine's going to be generally benchmarking graphics cards, we're not actually going to get one specifically for it, but you will see lots of different graphics cards going through it in the future. But if you haven't noticed, we were actually missing the power supply. Now, we have a bunch of power supplies in the inventory at the moment, and we'll probably most likely use one of them. We generally have a lot of Cooler Master stuff, so probably more than likely we're going to end up running something like that to begin with, but we will be looking for something to again support NZXT and go with the theme that we're doing, and we'll look for something around an 850 watt NZXT power supply. But we'd like your recommendation on that, so drop a comment in below. Are the NZXT power supplies good? We've never actually experienced one before, so it'd be good to hear from somebody that has. And that brings us pretty much to the sum total of the machine. The case itself, being a refurbished model, obviously needs a bit of a clean, and we're going to do that soon. We'll clean it all up. We'll probably replace these fans as well. We want something with a nice RGB in the back, so I'm going to look for an NZXT RGB fan. They are pretty expensive, but considering we only need one or maybe two for the roof, but I think I might fit a 140 in there, it shouldn't be too much. And obviously we need to think about the RGB. Now this case does come with RGB actually built into it behind the middle bar here. It's got RGB behind there, and it's got an RGB strip across the top, and there is a controller in the back, but I'm not sure whether that will actually power one of the new fans because it's only a version 1 controller in the back of this. So we'll take a look and see what we can actually do with that, whether we can upgrade it to a more modern one or whether we drive the fans from something different. But that's the system altogether, and it's going to be a pretty awesome build as well because this will be the first Intel build, new Intel build that we've built since around 2002. So that's a long time ago that we played with Intel. We were talking about Pentium 4 days. We do have a lot of retro Intel stuff in because obviously we've got the retro Intel system that we've been building, and make sure you check out the channel to get the videos on that because that's turning out pretty cool. But as far as new goes, this is it for a long time. So we're going to see how well the build goes, see if we get any trouble with it. I'm pretty sure we won't because some of the parts we've got, like I say, have given us really good experiences in the past, particularly the brands. And once it's up and running, we'll do some benchmarks and things like that. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see us building this machine. We'll probably do it in stages and you'll be able to see how it goes. We'll do a bit of a build log as we go along. And also we want to hear your recommendations. Did we do good on picking these parts? The total sum of this whole build is way less than £500. It's roughly around, well, just under £400 I think totally in, but we did get some things second hand, so it's not like we can actually promote those parts as a full budget build. And let us know as well, what kind of graphics card do you think we should do in our first video with this new machine? What's actually going to allow this processor to get up to speed and show us what it's actually got? But until then, we'll catch you in the next one.